Now, we are here to talk about the story of Ngurang Pinch. Now, this is a politician who was murdered in November last year in Arunachal Pradesh in very mysterious circumstances. The place where he was murdered, there was a policeman there. There were engineers of the government there. There were politicians there. And there were approximately 20 people at the site where he was murdered. But the government came back and the police came back and said that he died accidentally by drowning. He was a swimmer, he's an avid swimmer. So there is obviously a lot of disconnect on why he died that night. Also, no real DNA investigation has been done to find out what happened to him. And the family's been running helter skelter. Until 3 months ago, there was no news network in India who was willing to pick up the story. Reena approached us then, and we decided to take the story up after investigating it properly. Since then, other news networks have now come forward. But what's going to happen? Nobody still knows. Let's talk to Reena and understand why is the investigation stuck. Even though she has gone multiple times to the CBI, she's approached them. We, through our connections, have reached out to the CBI, have reached out to the Arunachal police, but nothing has moved. So, Reena, when we last met you, the Arunachal CM had communicated to you that this is going to be now investigated by the CBI. What has happened since then?
Yeah, last July, when the letter from the Chief Minister's office had gone to the CBI, I think all of us were very relieved. We sort of had, a little bit of hope that something would turn out. But after 3 months, in the month of October beginning, I got to know when I visited the CBI office and met the Joint Director. He told me that the letter was not sufficient and that we need to re-communicate with the Chief Minister's office. And I was taken
What does that
aback.
mean? The letter was not sufficient. Coming from the Chief Minister's office, why isn't that letter sufficient?
Yeah, I think I was very confused at the first because all I knew was a letter was given and the things had to be moved. But when I visited the office, they said the letter had to be given to a certain department called the Department of Personnel and Training and not to the director. So I reached out to the CM's office again and asking them to do the needful. So it was only on October 5th the second letter to the DOPT was sent. And I still await any confirmation on what is the status for my father's case.
So this is bizarre. It's you who is a civilian is now pushing for investigations, and the government who should be investigating, we pay them salaries as the population of the country. We elect them as our leaders, are not doing their job. What's going on here?
It is very saddening because I, as an educated person, sitting in studying in the highest, premier institute like JNU and teaching in Delhi University, I'm not able to move. I'm not able to access justice or a thing that is entitled to me. And I'm wondering how about the poor and the illiterate people who don't have access to all this. And it's very saddening because it's a 1 year of long, big battle, and I don't know where is the light at the end of the tunnel. I am still wondering.
So here is this gentleman who was a BJP politician. He was standing for elections and BJP was offering him a ticket. And all of a sudden, he gets called for a fishing trip by another politician, and there he's murdered. Now, people even heard that night that he had an argument with somebody. And Mr. Pinch had information about a genocide that happened on the border of Assam and Arunachal. Many have gone out and talked about how he was talking about that you've gone out and killed people and this is not done, and I'm going to talk about it. And so that is where the whole background lies. And the government is not willing to act. Arunachal police is responsible for it. So you went and met the Director General of Police of Arunachal Pradesh. What did he have to say?
Yes, I met him last week when I was in Arunachal, and I had informed him about my meeting with the Joint Director at CBI office. And when I told them that the second letter was on its way to the CBI and that we need your cooperation, he only said that we are ready to help as long as the CBI takes it up formally. So until that happens, we don't know how else to work it out. So I think whenever the CBI says yes, I think things are going to move. But then the worrying part is the CBI hasn't said yes until now.
But there is also another challenge. Now, CBI has only a few offices. So, Arunachal is run from an office in Calcutta, which is many, many hours away. And there have been over 160 murders in Arunachal
In the last 3 years.
in the last 3 years, which have not really been properly investigated. So, that in itself is a bit of a challenge. But the DNA testing was never done at the site. What has happened? Wow, we have a full police force with, maybe crores of rupees paid in salaries. Why has there been no DNA testing done at the site?
I don't even know where to begin, or rather to locate where the problem is, because even when we got a call on 18th November last year, it was reported that my father had died early in the morning, and we got a call only 6 to 7 hours later. First, that's the beginning of the error. And then these 20 people picked up my father's dead body and carried it across many kilometers and put it in a police station, near the police station. And then the locals came and gathered, and that's how we got the news. I mean, these people were also not there to inform us what had happened. So since then, 18th November to until now, which is almost coming to a year, at every level, I think I have witnessed and experienced inefficacy of the system, of law and order. I don't even know, like I said, where to locate the issue, because everything is so complicated. Again, the larger issue is because it's a tribal, primitive, evolving society. It has tribe and clan, I think, working out with the system, and I don't know how things work there. It's a total chaos right there.
This doesn't seem like an investigation happening in an evolved democracy, which has a law and order. This seems like a system where it only functions when you know somebody or you pick up the phone and call somebody. This is not how a nation which says it is the largest democracy in the world should work. Whoever is watching this from the government, the Home Minister to start with, needs to look at this seriously. I know the Home Minister from Arunachal is also the Minister of State for Home, is Kiran Rijiju. It is happening in his state, not very far from his own constituency. So possibly he needs to look at it. And until then, she is going to continue to fight for her father's investigation, and they will continue demanding that the government take charge. Right now, there is the ruling central government in state as well, which is the BJP in power, and basically the center and state coordination will be easy. So there was earlier times when they said the regional government doesn't really correspond with the center and there are issues with that, but that doesn't exist anymore. So hopefully Reena and her family will be waiting for the investigation to begin and conclude so that they can have answers.